Usually, meter points specify an exact defined point in the supply structure where one or several measured parameters must be measured or recorded. As the supply structure is known in visual energy and the position of the meter points is defined, accounting grid totals and differences can be created automatically without manual intervention and also be determined using the daily structure data calculation. The software specifies these system meter points independently when creating a location, a medium or a distribution. These meter points are not taken into account for the meter point license. There is, however, a meter point type which does not depend on the supply structure or cannot be allocated to it. The calculated formula meter point. In this video, I wish to explain this meter point in greater detail. A large number of individual calculations can be carried out with a formula meter point. This type of meter point is, for instance, perfect for the continuous creation of figures. Creation takes place in the same way as for real medium meter points, with an assistant. Initially, select Formula and then, if necessary, the location and the medium for the meter point. The selection of the medium determines which OBIS measured parameter can result from the calculation and in which target medium the new meter point is stored. For the calculation itself, it is possible to also use meter points from other media. Subsequently, a special formula editor opens. This editor offers you a toolbar with buttons for compiling the desired mathematical formula, a respective display area, a status bar with information on the formula's validity, and a selection box for the OBIS parameter of the result. Let's start with an example. You wish to calculate the power consumption per square meter of office space. The power consumption is a load profile meter point, while the office space is a constant. At first, select the load profile via the meter point button. In the subsequent dialog, you can search for the meter point name or, if necessary, limit the search to certain locations, media or distributions. Once the meter point has been found and selected, Visual Energy checks which measured parameters are available and offers them for selection. In our case, this is the active consumption reference P+. Subsequently, we wish to divide by a constant number. For example, 65 for 65 square meters. Once the mathematical formula has been entered and validated by the system, you can inform the system which measured parameter results from the calculation. In our case, it is still the active consumption reference P+, as we only divide by a constant. As with each meter point, you subsequently specify the network operator and provide an appropriate name for each meter point. Once the assistant has been completed, the new meter point is available in the meter point list. It can be found quickly by using the filter function. Please do not be surprised, as obviously no data is available yet. Visual Energy always carries out these calculations when new data of a used meter point arrives. In order to carry out the calculation for the past, we have to give the order manually. With calculated meter points, this takes place via the Request Data button. After you have informed the system of the time period during which the calculation should be carried out, you can send the order. The automation service of Visual Energy 4 then processes all the orders in the background. Users with sysadmin rights can check this execution via the server log in the system area. We can now also view the result of our calculation graphically. As with real meter points in the supply structure, you can display the historical load profile data for the various time ranges and evaluation intervals for the virtually calculated meter point. A further note about the formula editor. Errors in the formula can only be corrected from the end. The last element can be deleted via this button. The button next to it deletes the entire formula. In order to validate the result, you can already retrieve data here in the formula editor via this button. Enter a valid time range and check the results. And remember, calculated meter points cannot be allocated to the supply structure. Totals and differences for distributions, media, locations or the entire project are created independently by Visual Energy and do not have to be created as a calculated measurement. Cost centers and energy use are intended for and much better at displaying consumption values proportionally. They also do not have to be created as calculated measurements. A calculated formula meter point is, however, perfect for, in particular, creating figures. As production data can also be recorded with the system, it is possible to display batch or shift-specific consumption figures. In contrast to the absolute consumption of a measuring point, these figures clearly show the increase in efficiency and help to meet the requirements of EN 50001.